Yeah, today's Sunday. How you folks been doing? It's been a little while since I've posted anything. I've just been doing routine calls at work, so haven't been nothing exciting going on. Plus, I've been a little lazy. But I've had people asking for a different mechanical, want me to do mechanical work, so I got this 2003 Chevy Tahoe here that we're going to work on today. Y'all might recognize it. It's my old Tahoe that I had that I sold here a while back. Anyway, the old water pump went out of her. She wants to leak water once in a while, so we're going to put a water pump on today. We got to tear all this apart. We're going to tear the fan shroud off of it, which will give us right access to that water pump. It's not a hard job to do. I just didn't want to do it, man. I wanted to... It's been hot here. And after working outside every day in the heat, I got this yard mowed yesterday and this morning and got it all weed eated earlier this morning. I just wanted to rest today. Take the rest of the day off and just be lazy and be in the air conditioning. But, you know, that's not how it goes. So let me get some tools and equipment out here and we'll get started. Now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take that hose clamp loose right there. We're going to take this hose clamp loose right here. And that's going to pull this whole system out. Now I've already got the hose clamps loosened. Twist it and pull it out a little bit. Pull this whole system out of the way. Throw it over here on the ground. That simple, that easy. See, there's the water pump right there. We gotta get these hoses off. Gotta get this apart here so we move the hose up out of the way, and then we're gonna take this fan shroud off out of the way. Now you got these little plastic pop rivets here. All you do is stick a screwdriver in there, you pry that up, and these come out. And if you see, there's a hole right there, there's a hole there, and there's a hole there, and one over here. And just prop them out. Make sure you save those now. There's 4 of them. Now we just got to get these screws out right here that are 10mm. Now y'all know me. You can use regular hand tools if that's all you got. It ain't that. This is not that hard of a job. But you know me, I'm going to use air tools. I've done my time at wrenching everything. Now you should be able to just pull this hose. Take this hose, don't pull on it, you know, but take it, just kind of lift it up a little bit. Just bring this straight up out of there, just like that. And throw it over to the side, out of your way. Then we get to come around here. That's going to get interesting. Okay, you got your fan blade here, serpentine belt is here, and this is your water pump, and she's a big unit. Thermostat's hooked onto it. I went ahead and suggested just go ahead while you got that off. You see right there's your thermostat. Just go ahead and replace it. You're already in this far, you might as well go ahead and do it up. The tricky part to this thing, the only hard part to this thing is getting this fan off, because it just does not come off. So it's got that big old nut back there, and the only way to get that off is you got to shock it. Put a big enough wrench on it, hit it hard to shock it, or an air hammer or something along them lines. I don't have a big enough air hammer, so I gotta go find a tool to fit it. I'll be right back. Like I said, the hardest part of this is getting this fan off. The only way I've ever been able to figure out how to do it, I got my big old crescent wrench, Put it on here. Ah, come a little loose. You know, you want it kind of snug on there. There we go. Take a big hammer and slam it. Doesn't do it, just keep trying. You can eventually get it. I think it did it. And just turn it. Yep, it came loose. And just spin it off. Try not to break the fan blades though. Because trust me, this clutch fan is not cheap. I've done it. I've broken them. I hate to say that, but I have broken them before trying to get them off. And another trick that works, if you can't get it to break loose, if you've hit it, some of them just won't come loose. There's nothing you can do. And just aggravates the dog out of you. Get your pry bar. Let me bring it over so I can show you what I'm talking about. It's just another step to do in case it doesn't come loose for you. Don't get discouraged. Let's get this camera here to act right. Okay, take your pry bar, okay, and come in here, behind here, and just stick it right behind the water pump, okay? Don't care if you break that pulley, break that water pump, it don't matter because a new one comes with it. Okay, get in there, get a good grip on it, and just pull real hard against that pulley, okay? That's all you want to do, just pull against that pulley and then take your hammer and hit that crescent wrench. And that right there usually breaks it loose, okay? So don't get discouraged, I wanted to show you all that. But anyway, there we are. Now all we got to do is take the hoses off. There's this hose. You got your hose down here. You got these two little heater hoses here for your heater cores. Take them off. And take this here loose, which is a 15. Take these two bolts out on this belt adjuster. And then we have 3 bolts that hold this in place. These little bolts right there. 3 on that side, 3 on the other side, and this thing is off. Real simple, real easy. I'll be right back with you. Now before you take that belt loose, look on your truck. Somewhere there should be one of these here. If you see this here is a markings that shows you how the belt runs on this thing. This thing's all faded out. It just faded out, worn out. So another good way is just take a picture of it. Because if you got a memory like mine, which ain't no good, you'll fight and fight trying to get that back together, trying to remember how all that went. So just take a picture of it and be done with it. That's the best way to do it. Okay? What we're going to do here, I'm going to put you back over here on this tripod. It's kind of hard to hold this, do everything here one-handed. Trying to get it set up where you guys can kind of see what's going on here. Which is kind of hard to do. See where you guys are at. Alright. Now for this one here, I'm going to use a ratchet and a 15 millimeter. And just go back to the right. Just pull it over and then just pull the belt off. That's all you got to do. Just pull the belt off. It's that simple and that easy. And there's your belt. You know, and check your belt. This one here looks like you're still in pretty good shape. I mean, you can leave it on here, but I'm just going to take it off, throw it up here all the way, so that way it's out of my way. Now, like I said, you want to take these bolts off of this tensioner pulley here, which I'm going to cheat. You know me, I'm not going to use regular tools. Oh, I ain't got time for all that. I dropped my socket. Can you believe that nonsense? Dropped the socket on the ground like a dummy. More time and more time. Say, I broke my air ratchet here a while back. And I haven't replaced it. There's a ball that goes in there that helps hold the sockets on. If you see that, my ball is gone. And I haven't replaced it. This air ratchet I got's probably 20 years old. Try to do it to me again. Okay, one thing to remember on this though, on this setup here, ooh, that thing's hot. See this here? It's got long space. That's for longer boats because there's 3 different boats in here. You got this little short boat here, a little long boat. Just remember, more space, the longer the boat. Yeah, I was driving this earlier trying to make sure where it was coming from, where the water was leaking out at. Now you can use whatever you want, pair of pliers, anything to get these off. But we got 4 hoses to get off. I got this little tool, I think at O'Reilly's here a while back. It does the job. Pretty simple to use, you know, you just put it on here. Makes things a little easier on a fella, you know. And just squeeze it. Ooh, that thing's tight, man. It don't want to come apart. And sometimes they don't want to come off. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. Use some slack on it, baby. Try twisting the hose is the best way to get it to come off. And just voila. We're not going to worry about all that. I got a drain tube, catch can down there to catch it all. And we're going to do an engine flush on this thing anyway, so. That's why I didn't drain none of it. But see how simple and easy that was. Like I said before, be gentle. I'm just not going to hit the power on this thing. I'm actually going to break them loose before I actually hit the trigger on this and make them spin out. Do not want to be tapping and drilling bolts out of a block. And I've been there and done that before, so it's not fun. I've seen people hit them with the air tools. As soon as you hit them, they spin and break. We do not want to be a part of that. Don't want to be part of that club anymore. I hate drilling out boats. Tapping and drilling to me is no fun. Okay, I got it apart. And see, the other thing is this motor's got almost 300,000 miles on it. So that's the other problem, you know. There's the old gaskets we just got off. There's no silicone on them, so you gotta do that. Just gotta make sure you clean them up real good though. See, we come over here, and there's no bearings or nothing leaking in it, but it just goes to leaking. So we're not even gonna fool with it. So I got a brand new one for it. Alright, like I said before, not worried about all that junk stuff because we're gonna get it flushed up out of here. Okay? We're gonna fill this water radiator hose, stick it up here. See, we got the water hose running in there, coming out down there. We're just gonna kind of give a little flush to the system here. It's finally starting to come out a little clearer. As you see, I got my ports cleaned up. Okay. Now I'm going to stick it in the water jackets. See if we can get the flush out the motor. We want the water to come out halfway clean. You know, something else you're going to have to consider, and it happens all the time, is you get up to the auto parts store, you buy the parts, you come home, you tear apart your car, and if it's the only car you got, this is going to suck, but they give you the wrong parts. Luckily, I had my neighbor come over, and they're going to go up and get the thermostat. They gave me the wrong freaking thermostat for this motor. Go figure. I mean, I got another vehicle, I could go get it, but I just ain't got the time. Now, when you're putting this water pump on, do it very gently. Like I said, these are just 10mm bolts, so I like to bring the whole pump in here as one and get them started. Get the bolt started. Come on. That way they don't cross thread them or do anything stupid like that. Alright, they're all finger started. So much for staying home and staying out of the sun, right? Out of this heat. I told you, I've had this wrench here, this ratchet, air ratchet. I've had it for about 20 years. My boss gave it to me when I worked at the transmission shop. Mine broke and he gave me this one. And it's been a good one. What is this thing? It's a snap-on. But it's got its problems. I need a new one. I just don't want to buy one. Now I'm just going to snug these up. I'm not going to crank them in there with this. Just snugging them up. And like I said, these are 10mm bolts. So they will not take much power and torque to break them and twist them and all kinds of stuff. And with that big old heavy ratchet, it's kind of hard to feel the bolts, the strength you're putting to it. So I'm gonna bring out my trusty little, I got this little ratchet here. They're Harbor Freight. It's a Pittsburgh. Man, that's an awesome little ratchet. They ain't like other ratchets where you got a whole big turn. This thing just real quick turns. It's a hell of a little ratchet. Now you want to put these in with some good torque on them, you know, but don't get all crazy and Hercules on them. And that's it. She's done. Water pump installed. Now I'm really at a point here I can put these hoses on, which I will go ahead and do. Put that one on, and like I said, this one here I got to cut the end of it off because it's kind of raggedy. But put those on, then I'm at a standstill until I can get the thermostat here. Hopefully be here pretty quick. Okay, now when putting these hoses back on, see if you can make it out here. It's gonna be kind of hard to tell, but you see on that hose here, if you look here, it's got grooves. That's where this hose clamp has been. Okay, so now you want to put that back in the same grooves. I don't know why, but if you don't, it will go to leaking. You want to line them grooves up just as best as you can, and that's where you want them to set. Don't ask me why, but that's just the way it is. And it sits off just a little bit. It's kind of hard to do with one hand with these darn things. Okay, now we're going to do the tensioner pulley. Remember, like I said, there's 3 bolts for it with 2 different size bolts. So you just got to line all this up, figure out how it goes. I mean, it's not rocket science, you know, but just want to make sure you put it on right. It only goes on one way. And that's how you do that. Now we get to do the fun thing here, the belt. Like I said, look at your diagram. Look at however you got things going on. But in my case, I took a picture of it. Let's see if I can get my phone to pull up here so I can see it. Because you never know what's going to happen. See, I got a picture of mine. I did that on purpose, that way I know how it routes. Supposed to have a rainstorm come through here later. Alright, let's see here. We're still on the pulleys. Yeah, that still looks good to me. Alrighty. Seems to be on now. Make sure you go back through here and check and make sure you got it on right. Because if it's off by one of these little grooves on here, let me show you what I'm talking about. If you like this power steering pump here, it's got grooves in it. Bottom harmonic balancer pulley's got the screw grooves in it. If you're off on one of those grooves, it'll cut your belt and rip it off within just a short amount of time. So make sure she's on there. Looks like we're in good shape. Slide it back down in here like it was when you took it out. Line up the bottom holes. And put these things back in. Like I said, you just push them in. That's all you do. Put them in and push those in. That's all you got to do. Take your screwdriver and just pry them up. Plastic pop rivets. Sometimes they're a pain in the butt to do. We just stick that down in the hole and push those down. And we just got to put these two bolts back in here. Put the fan shroud in place. Get them started. Can never beat air power. Oh man. I just gotta put this top radiator hose on. As you can see, we got it all back together. Now I just gotta put the breather assembly on. Sometimes it could be a pain in the butt. Sometimes it could go on pretty easy. A real pain in the butt to deal with. Get the sweat out of my eyes. Okay. The best way I've seen to do this is tip this over like this here and bring it down at an angle. Just like that. And then this one over here, just bend it around, put it in the hole. Man, that went together pretty freaking simple. I don't know why, but it did. And go back here and tighten these bad boys up. Now if you see me, I took the hose and I flushed out all the water jackets on the motor. I flushed out the radiator. Okay, good clean water. Now the way to get around that to make sure you get right, we're going to do it this way. We're going to put pure antifreeze in it. Not the 50-50, but pure antifreeze. Try not to spill as much as possible. I know this is probably supposed to be taking Dex Cool and all kinds of different antifreeze. I don't care. To me, that oil-based antifreeze is junk. I'm not putting it in my vehicle. We're gonna go with green. I grew up with green. We're gonna stay on green. Now if you add any water to it, you just add some more water to it, and you should have a good mix around here in Missouri for winter, if we don't have any leaks. Alrighty. Oh man. Let that go down some. I gotta go turn on the water now. Fill it up with water. As soon as you start it up, it's gonna suck it down. See, I got my hose just turned on slow. I'm gonna fill it on up. This here fills up the radiator and everything. So we already know that radiator ain't full. Now on 2 gallons of antifreeze. Now comes the hardest part of this whole operation. And it's time consuming. And it's burping it. Getting all the air bubbles out of that system. Radiator system. Because if you do not, it will overheat. So whenever you think you got all the air bubbles out of it, let it run some more. But trust me, you don't have it out. We also got to get this thing up to temperature so we can make sure that we ain't got no leaks nowhere. Now this old motor's got like 300,000 miles on it, real close to it. So you know, we ain't trying to do a lot with it, but we are trying to keep it mobile. I should turn the water on a little bit more, because this is ridiculous. Okay, it's been about 20 minutes or so. Enough time to eat some of this diarrhea food of Taco Bell. You know, that food gets nastier and nastier every time you eat up at them restaurants anymore. To the point I can't stand eating fast food anymore. But we're running. This thing's always ran just a little warm, I don't know why. Even with that different thermostat in it, it's still right back up there. About 190. 200, somewhere in that area. But she's running. I haven't seen no leaks or anything yet. She's still full of antifreeze. And like I said, if you look down in there, I think she's full. I think the air bubbles are out of it. But when you think they're out, let it run some more. So now I'm gonna put the cap on it. And we're gonna let this bad boy really run now. Now it ought to heat up real good. And see if we can get anything to act stupid. I am ready to call this project done. Like I said, you don't need nothing but a 10 millimeter, a 15 millimeter. You can use wrench or sockets, whichever way you want to go. A pair of pliers and a straight screwdriver. You can pretty much do that whole job. Now, realistic, it probably took me 30 minutes to do it. But when I was shooting the camera, trying to film, trying to talk to y'all, I've been out here probably a good hour and a half, 2 hours now. But in all honesty, even with hand tools, you should be able to get it done in about an hour. Like I said, just make sure you let it run and get all the air bubbles you can out of it. What they call burping the system. And you should be good to go. I'll try to bring you some more videos if I can get some more stuff lined up. I know I've been slacking. I just didn't want to work, you know. I wanted to be lazy, but it's hard to be lazy when you're broke. Thank you guys. Like and subscribe.